Assalamu alaikum to everyone in the globe. Today, the topic would be the constitutionality and the maintainability of the writ petitions VIDE, the Article 199, with effect to the Article 184, the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of the Pakistan, VIDE. Observation order in compliance with the reference order. I just observed that the dictations out of the public opinion appears to be the constitutionally absurd thought. The local commission agencies should and shall have to observe the multiplication elements of the populace as well. The concept of the multiplied populace versus the divide and control the management affairs, the central superior affairs of the same subject line appears to be the next target as per my outstanding observation regarding the inclined ratio of the proportional dimension in the said sectors. Thereafter, I just observed that the females, the groups of the ultimate disadvantaged females, the ultimate disadvantaged females in the Pakistan appears to be the next point which should be observed by the Republicans. It is not acceptable under any plea within any either elementary symmetry codes of the Pakistan that you were the person who had been rejoiced under the article section 164 towards section 432 report to the High Court. And I should clear that section 164, the code of the criminal procedure, always attracted when the person is not in the individual capacity. The individual capacity differs from the in personam capacity via the article of the same. The constitutional maintainability into the refreshing of the memory via the Kanuni Shahadat order, we all have observed those factors as well. So, any petition which is not being dismissed or not being observed in the public sector appears to be the sector of the public hate, stroke, culture versus the hate speech. This would be my applied comparative judgment for the day of 17th of the September. The rest of the Republicans, 95% Republicans, are trying to kill the depression of historical misdemeanor by the pursuit to happiness as to reproduction of the children in the conference. This is a crime, not offense. And one should be very observed that the code of the criminal procedure should acknowledge a new section. Likewise, I just said that the reproduction of the children as to having a mind of pre-plan area that such children will be providing the basic amenities to the old age benefit individuals. Yes, it would be accommodated in two factors. If such males were in the same panels of providing the sufficient resources as to having the receipt gross valuation of those types and through testimonials of those individuals who had passed away. And if not, thereafter, the said ancestral deficit disorder recovery reference order would be prepared in the Supreme Judicial Council against the said parent. Because I observed that the parental neglection into the love and affection in the Pakistan is a point which is raised and it's still raising day after day. My prime motto as to recording of this Witness Protection Statement Act 2018. This statement would be taken as the Witness Protection Act 2018 Statements Preamble and all sections applied one, that the females have been deprived of the primary rights in the Pakistan due to the choices of the males. The question of this concept is very dark and bleak and should be acknowledged that in the Pakistan, the Republicans males are under the marital proliferation and the glorified and the so many other sorts of the disadvantaged sort of the marriages. They just want a male baby. The concept of the male baby disease in Pakistan. 99% of the Pakistani men dominant society just want marriage in return of a male baby, and after having a male baby, such male baby, they always invest that such male will and shall run the affairs of the civil departments. But when the said male baby become an object in the public sector, the public sector would not accommodate the same subject line because of the objected questions in the abstraction of the parental neglection of the said baby male, which had grown now. So my concept is very dark, as I always said that water. So before understanding all such sort of the issues under the civil issues, I figure it out in Pakistan. A female is not married because such a female wants a generation. More the males are being married or were married that they want the generations. They 75% I'm talking about. The remainder proportion 25% have some sort of reservations in the departments as to represent a cause of action as to the equitable or equity reforms unions under the federal consolidated list. So, the unscheduled factors of the Republicans, the unscheduled crime under the schedule offenses, the scheduled crimes under the schedule criminology in factors, the departments of the Pakistan are hereby under the dictations of those individuals who have carried forward a public exposure in the public sector, regardless of their age factor. And if the problem of the food inflation, it is also a factor which is always indicated by the such individual who is in the public sector, that the food inflation is an inclining point of the public department. But when we just observe the public sectors into the divisional benches and the divisional benches into the single bench, then the judges of the said benches would have to reform the all sectors of the advocates, regardless of the narratives of the judgments and the explanations of the points of view of the depictions of the untold stories of the storytelling and story making civil issues of the association of persons or group of persons, that is the offense in Pakistan. I'm not talking about the true proportional and propositions of the association of persons. In Pakistan, it is prevailing that because the malfunctioning of the usage of the malnutrition of the organic scientific product, the actions are being disapproved today. The Chinese, the concept of the Chinese economy in Pakistan, every product which we buy is not in the shape value of the rotation, because the paper quality which we just purchase for e-stamp paper has to just show a cause of action in either court of the justice, but we just observe the value of the paper sheet is not in the position as to just refresh a cause of action for the years. So, if such record rooms in the Lahore High Court, in the Supreme Court, and in the other reciprocate countrywide courts thereafter, who would be the person representing all the central constitutional safety barriers, federal consolidated CNIC's members list is my operative question for the rest of the remainder proportional institution of Pakistan as well. Thereafter, I was considering the homogeneous sort of the hypothetical females criminal scenes in the public sectors, that when it is an act of God under the natural justice, when the females are produced under the ipsi dixit of the humans. Thereafter, the ipsi dixit multiplied by the natural justice and the act of the god, and the act of the god would become the ipsi dixit act of the god of natural justice. Thereafter, what we just compulsively understood through this compulsive mode of the ascertainment of the equitable reforms, reservation rights of the humanitarian observation. I always said that I'm working very hard regarding the observation of the humanitarian negligence, basic factors composition in the whole of the globe. The elements which comprehend the compression or the compassionate point of the compositions of comparing the same in the composite area of living the organisms and the organic ways of devastating issues become the other side of the same. The human decaying position is a natural process which the human always negate, because the person and the human always differ in the functional league as to represent its of self existence in the whole of the globe. The such person considered that he would have been provided the right, so he have to renderize services in the services of the Pakistan. But such person have to oversee that either the such person is fit for the capacity of the compliance of the duties of the prerogative ruling advance SROs under the web portals of the governance or not. The person whatsoever the law is, the personal capacity is a different capacity. You cannot say that the computer would be a digital computer. We operate computer, yes, we operate computer, but we cannot operate computer through the computer. This is my comparative question of the century. We cannot compare the human through computer. We The computer is being maintained by the humans, but the humans, while maintaining the computer in their official offshore or onshore duty rooms, are not in the position to represent a cause of action, to reframe. They are just in the position to copy paste and to narrate the narratives of their ancestors at the fiscal deficit disorders. I just figured out these points by myself. So stabilize, take care. This is advanced comparative advocate Gulraiz King. Today is the 17th of the September. So just always just enjoy the life and always work very hard.